there's a moment most men miss. You're sitting across from her, maybe at a quiet cafe, maybe at home in the soft glow of evening light, and she looks at you with that curious, thoughtful gaze and asks one simple question about your past. Maybe she asks, "What was your childhood like?" Or, "How was your last relationship?" It sounds innocent, harmless, just another conversation. But what you don't realize is, that question is her first step into your future. When a woman is truly interested in building something real with you, she doesn't just ask where you are now. She wants to know where you've been. Because buried inside your past are the clues to who you really are, and whether she can see herself inside the life you're creating. Before we get into this powerful story and the psychological truth most men overlook, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now and hit the bell icon. I promise you every video I post here can transform the way you understand women, love, and the hidden psychology of human relationships. This channel, Motivelix, is not just content, it's a brotherhood for men who want to walk through life awake, powerful, and emotionally intelligent. So subscribe, hit the bell, and let's dive in. I want you to imagine a man named Daniel. Daniel was 52, divorced, successful, but emotionally guarded. Not bitter, just tired. Tired of games, tired of guesswork. He had built a life he could be proud of, but something inside him always felt a little empty. Until he met her. Her name was Elena. She was 28, calm, intelligent, warm. She didn't come into his life with fireworks or drama. She came quietly, like a sunrise, slow, beautiful, certain. Their connection wasn't about appearance. It was something else. Something deeper that Daniel couldn't explain. And early on, during one of their dinners, she leaned forward, resting her chin on her palm, and asked him softly, "Can I ask you something a little personal?" He hesitated for a second but said, "Sure." And that's when she said it. "What was your last relationship like? What did it teach you?" Now most men would just answer casually. Daniel almost did too. But something about the way she asked, gently, with curiosity and respect, made him pause. He realized this wasn't ordinary small talk. She was studying his emotional history. She wanted to know who he had become through pain and experience. She was asking if she could trust his heart for the long haul. In that moment, without realizing it, Daniel gave her something far more important than an answer. He gave her access. Access to the deeper layers of himself. Psychology calls this emotional disclosure. And it's one of the foundations of romantic bonding. See, when a woman asks about your past, she's not trying to get gossip. She's trying to understand if your pain has made you cold, or wise. She's trying to measure how safe her future would be with you. She wants to know if you're emotionally available, stable, and conscious. Because women, especially younger women attracted to older men, are not just drawn to confidence, they're drawn to emotional security. So Daniel told her the truth. He talked about the divorce, the mistakes, the years he spent trying to focus only on business to numb the hurt. He talked about how he shut down emotionally for a long time. And instead of pulling away, Elena looked at him with even more softness. Because in that moment she didn't see a broken man, she saw a man who had survived and grown. And here's what most older men don't understand. When a woman asks about your past, it's not always a test you need to pass. It's an invitation. She's offering you a chance to create connection. And connection is what builds desire that lasts beyond attraction. From that day, everything between Daniel and Elena became deeper. She began opening up about her past as well, her own heartbreaks, the things she was afraid of, her dreams of building a life that felt safe and full of passion. Their conversations turned into trust. Trust turned into emotional attachment. And emotional attachment turned into something more powerful than love. It turned into belonging. Weeks later, Daniel realized something. That one question about his past was the moment she started seeing a future with him. She wasn't evaluating him like a project. She was studying his soul. She wanted to know if he was the kind of man she could admire, rely on, and build something real with. And the moment he opened up honestly, without pretending to be perfect, she felt safe enough to imagine a future in his arms. Now listen closely. Not every woman who asks about your past is serious about you. But the ones who really care don't just stay on the surface. They go deeper. They ask about your childhood, your heartbreaks, who you were before you became who you are. They're trying to see if your emotional baggage is still open, or if it's been sorted, healed, and upgraded into wisdom. Most older men brush off those questions or answer in a hurry. They don't realize that she's quietly deciding if she can trust you with her heart. When a younger woman asks you about your past, she's also revealing something about herself. She's showing you that she's not here just for a fun moment. She's emotionally investing. Because curiosity is one of the first signs of emotional attachment. No woman asks deep personal questions about a man she plans to leave. She only digs deeper when she's trying to figure out where she fits in your story. So how should you respond? With honesty, but also with emotional presence. Share the lessons, not just the facts. Don't complain about your ex or blame the past. Speak like a man who has faced life, taken the hits, and transformed. Speak like a man who isn't ashamed of where he's been. That's what makes you attractive on a level that has nothing to do with age. That's what makes her feel safe imagining a future with you. Remember this, when she asks about your past, she's asking about her potential future. She's trying to understand if you've learned how to love. If your past left scars, she wants to know if those scars made you stronger or scared. She wants to know if your heart is still open or if you're just looking for comfort without commitment. And she'll know. Women sense emotional availability. They read between the lines. They notice how you talk about your ex, how you talk about your family, how you talk about your younger self. It's in those stories that they decide, is this a man I can trust my heart with? Daniel learned that. He didn't expect to fall in love again. He didn't expect a young woman to be so emotionally intelligent. But every time she asked about his past, he opened up a little more. And every time he did, they got closer. Months later, he told me he never felt so understood in his entire life. Not even in his marriage. Why? Because she didn't just love the man he was today, she learned his story, and loved the entire path that made him that man. If you're a man watching this, remember, when you speak about your past with openness and maturity, You give her a glimpse of the life she can build with you. You show her that you don't run from pain. You grow through it. And that kind of man is incredibly rare. That's the man she imagines a future with. So the next time a woman looks at you seriously and says, "Can I ask you something about your past?" don't just answer the question. Recognize the moment. Because sometimes, that small question is the doorway to a future you didn't even know was possible. If she's asking about your past, brother, she's not just curious, she's invested. Don't be afraid to open up. Don't hide behind strength. Real strength is telling your story without shame. Women respect that. They feel safe in it. And in that safety, love grows like fire.